right, guys, I'm here with Jonathan Silverstein. How are you?
I'm good, Matt. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Welcome to the e-commerce geniuses show. So Jonathan is CEO and President of Mobile1st, based in Austin, Texas, and established in 2014. Mobile1st is a global pioneer in perfecting mobile conversion. Armed with proprietary technology and a proven service process, their seasoned optimization experts help brand marketers and online retailers significantly increase sales funnel conversion by improving site speed, user experience, and shopping cart and checkout. So optimizing mobile first. Again, welcome to the e-commerce geniuses show.
Thanks again, Matt. I know that was a mouthful.
It was. That's a good intro, though. So the first question I have for you is, can you tell us a little bit more about Mobile1st?
Yeah, sure. Happy to. And thanks for having me. And hello to all your viewers. Yeah, Mobile1st, it's been around since about 2014, started as a pure software platform. It's a SaaS product. Today, we're more software and a service. But to be more specific about the SaaS product, there's a product called Mobilizer. Mobilizer really helps in the area of figuring out your mobile speed. But more than that, it's got some nice bells and whistles, competes with, say, Browser Stack or cross-browser in that world, where graphic designers, developers, marketers that are looking to look at their content side by side, what's above the fold, what's not, things that are working in your content, things that are not, it's an accelerator for that field. In addition, you can connect it to Google Analytics. You can see some traffic KPIs, session data, bounce rates, etc. What percentage of traffic is coming to each individual device. So it's a neat little product, but Mobile1st really pivoted about a year and change ago, Q4 2016, where the SaaS product was nice, that it kind of showed people sort of speed issues or problems on their site. We wanted to get more into the business of kind of helping to solve those problems. So we expanded the charter of the company to include user experience and specifically cart and checkout, those values or those needs for brand marketers, online retailers to try and accelerate their conversion rate optimization.
So you do help e-commerce quite a bit, online retailers. So what have been your biggest failures and then your lessons from those failures with e-commerce clients?
Sure. Failures. I mean, they happen, often. And I think when we embrace them, we're right in the thick of test and learn. So learning along the way what things work, what don't, is really critical. I think I don't know if it's a failure because it's been fairly new in the world of the services side of the equation, but managing expectations among clients, for all those people out there that are versed in A/B testing, that are versed in conversion rate optimization, data analytics, helping clients understand that when you do deploy certain tests on a regular basis, that not every test wins. So that learnings come along the way, that this is not a fix it and forget it. And that's one of the things that early on, many clients in conversations with them, there was an expectation that if they're going to engage in this, that, okay, when am I going to start seeing the conversion rate optimization improve? And then when do I not need you anymore? And it's just not realistic. So managing those expectations has been a learning up front, that even when 50, 60% of the tests that we run don't actually have a statistically significant change, we learn from those things and we apply those learnings in other areas of our hypothesis. So that's one area. I think the other part for me, which really my background has been in operations management and leadership of building teams and structure and processes, is establishing a process that, as you said in your narrative at the beginning, that is a repeatable process that's consistent. So whatever the steps are from A to Z to get a consistent delivery for our clients, that's great. But you also have to balance that with flexibility for our clients because every single business is different. They're all in a different business period or phase. And we have to respect the fact that their needs are going to be fairly unique. And vertically, whether it's fashion, design, specific retail, whatever the business they're in, and brand marketers that really don't have a sale at the end of their funnel, but rather a lead gen tool or something, whatever their KPI is. The other thing that's been a real interesting, I don't know if it's a failure or great learning, but capturing the amount of impact that we've had with clients has been an interesting task, because even when we do find material improvements that we can make and we implement those that are statistically significant, you kind of have to pull the rubber band back, and many that are watching probably know this. You kind of say, well, had you implemented at the beginning of your fiscal year, with your run rate, AOV, et cetera, and all your other KPIs, you would generate this kind of revenue. But clients don't sit static. They're constantly improving their user experience, their pages, et cetera, and adding new products. So it's not been a perfect science to be able to capture what our impact has been, but we're learning how to do that effectively and realistically across the board.
How many tests or growth experiments, things that you want to test out with your mobile app or mobile version of your website, should you do per week, per month, per couple of weeks?
Sure.
What do you usually recommend?
There's some different rules of thumb there. It all depends on your traffic. So for our clients, we prefer to work with clients that have at least 100,000 visitors a month. That way we can actually run the test somewhere between any test given between 1 and 3 weeks. You want to be able to get over a couple of weekends. You want to get over maybe holidays. You don't want to just look at traffic and say, well, I just ran it Monday through Wednesday and then feel really confident. You should run it over, at least 2 weeks. And you want to run the test with as little or as few variables as possible so that you're really confident about the results.
So what have been your biggest successes? We've talked a little bit about your failures and lessons. What have been your biggest successes in e-commerce?
Sure. So as I said before, whatever the success is with clients, we have examples of them, nice ones where we've improved conversion rate optimization by 5% here, 6% there, 10% there. One of them that I'm feeling really good about is we're now getting to an understanding of what we're going to be delivering and those expectations that I said before in the failure. So I'd say the successes are that clients now know that when they engage with us, it's going to be for a period of time. It won't be for a month or 2 months or 3 months. It's going to be an extended period of time. And that expectations will be that, you won't be getting conversion the first month. It's going to happen a little bit over time. But it's undeniable that one of our clients that we do work with and have worked with probably the longest, a client, Pura Vida, has been probably our most successful case study. Now Griffin Thal, their CEO, is a prolific e-commerce guy. He's totally immersed in his business. He's extremely familiar with all facets of the business. And I'd argue that a good learning is an engaged CEO of an e-commerce business is your best friend in generating the best possible outcomes. He's extremely enthusiastic in working with our team. But cutting to the chase, while I'm not going to reveal his financial benefits, I will say it's easy to say, based on our data, that in the last 8-9 months that we've worked with him, he's generated about 100x ROI in what he's paid us. So it's a very beneficial. It's been a very mutually beneficial relationship between the two companies.
That makes you think that you should probably increase your rates.
Exactly. But you don't want to also expect that you're going to get those kind of results. There's a lot of variables and dynamics. But yes, that has been a topic of conversation.
What is the impact of mobile site speed and user experience on conversion?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's not a territory that hasn't been trotted well. I mean, I'll break them apart. Again, our pedigree has been the site speed. It's been our history, and more recently on the UX side. But I think it's fair to say, if you look at, say, Google, who's really making a lot of hay over the last 2 years with AMP, accelerated mobile pages, or Facebook instant articles, if you look at just those two behemoths, they've been huge advocates in acknowledging that speed plays a big role in specifically mobile conversion, more so even than, say, desktop. Akamai, which is nice, there's lots of sources out there that have done great testing. Akamai released a report, I think it was Q1 2017, so I think it's due probably for a refresher. But as of last year, they came up with a couple of statistics. One was, and I think for those out there probably heard it, every 100 milliseconds of delay can cause about 7% of your conversion. That was kind of a breakthrough. Like, okay, there is a material impact if you have a delay in your site. So only 100 milliseconds. Another one is if if it's roughly about a 2-second delay, you could lose roughly more than 26% of your conversion. That's significant. And then another one was kind of figuring out where the right place is the study they did on mobile pages, that if you rendered roughly at about 1.3 seconds, you had the lowest bounce rate. So look, the expectations for people using their phones is gone through the roof, right? We spend, I think, 70% of our time on media is through smartphones. Over 80% of our social media time is spent on smartphones, and yet it only results in about 20% of conversions. So getting back to, on the UX side, user experience now, it's not new. I mean, conversion rate optimization is not something new, and looking at your user experience is not something revolutionary. However, if you look at, say, Amazon, guys like Jeff Bezos has been on record that in his first year of operation, he spent 100 times more on UX than he did on advertising. So he knew that if getting the user experience right, and specifically on app and on mobile web, was critical. And most brands, every brand that we're engaged with, have all seen a massive flip over the last, say, 2 years of their traffic going from desktop to smartphones specifically. Now, most of the brands are minimum 60% of their traffic is coming from smartphones. So if your user experience really isn't in great shape, then you're going to really suffer as far as your conversion. And that's pretty well documented. Another thing is Google has announced that in July of this year, they're really going to be moving to a mobile-first index in their SEO rankings. So if your site is slow, whether it doesn't employ AMP or doesn't employ best practices for a speedy site, you're going to drop in your rankings. So there's real reasons to make this a priority.
What would be your top 3 pieces of advice, practical advice to increase mobile conversions?
Yeah, I think if you're talking to me, I would say your top 3 things are mobile speed, UX, and really focus as much as possible on your cart and checkout. So for those of you out there that are on e-commerce platforms such as Shopify or Woo or Big or Demandware, et cetera, really understanding what your back-end flexibility is there to be able to write code, to be able to improve your user experience, as well as doing everything possible to clean your code so that it renders as fast as possible. Second, as I said before, for brand marketers, e-commerce guys out there, if you're not doing it already, really buy into and commit to a longer term strategy of, it's not fix it and forget it, but that testing and learning and implementing is the best way to ensure that you're going to be moving in the trajectory of improving conversion rate optimization versus guessing. A lot of guys are moving off on one platform to another. Don't allow yourself to just design just for design's sake. Make sure that you're deploying really best practices so that your conversion rate optimization is ideal. One observation that I've made over the last, year and changes, we haven't really seen, unless you're a really large player in the field, we haven't seen the resources allocated inside a company dedicated specifically to the area of data analytics, UX research, and real A/B testing to a disciplined degree. And it's hard. This is not easy stuff. I mean, we pride ourselves on being familiar with 60 plus applications that really help us determine what mix of those applications really help to serve as solutions. And if you really are not doing it, really consider working with an outside partner that really is 100. If it's not us, work with somebody that is 100% committed to improving conversion rate optimization.
What would be your call to action for people watching this video, either live or later on offline? What would you like them to do? Would you just like them to, give you a call, check out your website, do something else?
Sure, absolutely. Come to mobile1st.com and drop us a line if you'd like us to do an audit for you. We can do one turnaround in 24 to 48 hours, and just provide us with a Google Analytics view rights, and we can kind of do an assessment. But if you're not, then you want to do it on your own. Definitely make sure you have your benchmarks. Know what the speed of each of your pages are, your home page, your category pages, PDPs, your cart pages. Really know how fast it is. Know what it's like on different browsers. But look in your Google Analytics. Really be familiar with the browser activity going on. Understand what percentage of your traffic is coming in through smartphones, and and look at your conversion rates and project it out and say, if we stay like this, is it really sustainable as more and more of your visitors are coming in through smartphone?
Jonathan, thank you so much for taking the time to doing this e-commerce geniuses interview.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Matt.
All right. Have a great day.
All right. Take care.